What's up, guys? Ray Glimp here from Homeless to Over 100 Doors, and I have a new project that I want to take you to. This is a new fix and flip. Purchased it off market, so it never went to market. Purchase price was quite low. We actually got a good deal on it. I'm supposed to close on it tomorrow, and I'm working it through today with some contractors, getting some estimates, some final estimates put together, bids. One of the things we do in real estate is we get multiple bids, multiple offers whenever we're trying to do a project. Some bids, some stuff might be unnecessary. I know one bid we got for a piece of the roof came in at, I think 15,000, and then another estimate came in at only 5,000 or 6,000. Both were reputable companies, but one came in at a lot higher of a cost. So one of the things we always balance for is what's the cost going to be, and make sure that it fits within our budget. One of the things that I did on this project before was I made sure to do a good budget as well. Making sure that you have a good budget, making sure that your budget is tight and that it aligns is going to be essential to making sure that you can score a good project. A lot of times, especially on like a fix and flip or even a buy and hold, if you're trying to do a burr, you do not want to go over budget. Going over budget can destroy the whole investment. I've seen people lose money going over budget, and it could flip your whole deal upside down. Another thing that you want to make sure that you watch out is time, right? So on this project, we set a strict time guideline at 6 weeks from the time that we actually close on it to the time that construction is finished. Now, things do happen. Some things might be out of our control, but we want to make sure that we plan to, get this project done in 6 weeks. And that means making sure you have a clear scope of work. You have to have a good scope of work for your contractors to make sure everybody's on the same page. Also, making sure that you have subs, right? Subcontractors. So if you're going to bring an electrician, make sure that the electrician is aligned and that they know what time, what date they got to be in. They know exactly, the time frame of, when they got to be out. They also have a clear scope of work for what they're responsible for doing. The last thing you want to do is have subs come back and forth or overwork. You don't want to do drywall until all the electrical is done, right? Because once those walls are closed off, the worst case scenario is now you're going to have to cut open the walls to run new electrical. So you always want to make sure that you have them in order as well. So typically what we do is when we have stuff down to the studs, we'll take out, we'll make sure that the electrical is done. So first we'll get someone in for demo, get it down to the studs. Then we want to make sure that we get our electrical done. We want to get our plumbing done, installation. All of that stuff should be done when you are, down to the studs. After that, make sure, test and verify that everything is working as it should be. Like I said, the last thing you want to do is have to go in and open those walls. So test and verify that everything is done. After that, we'll have somebody go in, sheetrock it. They'll hang the sheetrock, drywall, finish it, which means pretty much sanding it down, getting it ready for paint, prepped and painted. We'll have somebody go in, prime it. Sometimes they may spray, sometimes they may just roll, but we'll get it primed. This is a very small area that we're doing. I think this house that we're flipping is about 860 square feet. So it's a really small flip, which allows us, the time to get in and out of the property fairly quickly. Once it's primed, then the next step, you want to go ahead. We like to do our kitchen layout, make sure we have everything for our kitchen. And then from there, you might start doing your punch list items, which is going to be like painting, electrical fixtures, like your lights, outlets. You start getting down to the finishing details, putting your kitchen pieces together, flooring. And then after that, it really just becomes the nitty-gritty details. But having this step-by-step process is something that you want to make sure that you work with someone who's experienced and has done this before. Because if not, this thing can cost you tons of extra money, extra time in this process. So knowing the process is going to be very important for you guys if you're just starting out on your investment journey. Find someone who's actually doing this. If you're looking for mentors, you can reach out to me. But if you have other mentors, find someone who's actually in the space that's actually doing fix and flips, or buy and holds, or burrs, a good burr. As I mentioned, if you have somebody who's not actively doing this and you're just getting started, you can mess with your timing. And timing, typically for this type of fix and flip, we're going to hold a fix and flip loan, which we call a bridge loan or construction loan. And these loans, you pay monthly pretty much on them. And usually they're interest only payments. So every month that you hold this property, the longer you hold it, the more it's costing you. And they actually, when you go to closing, they charge you by the day, right? So every day that you hold this property is going to actually cost you money. So you want to make sure to maximize your time. I mean, there's been times we've had guys come in on the weekends just because we needed to maximize and exit this. Sometimes on a short-term bridge debt, they'll actually throw at you penalties. So if you're not done, let's say in that, let's say it's a 6-week period or 8-week period, or even a 6 month or 12 months, you can do bridge debt. I've seen them to 18 months, even 2 years. But if you're not done in that time period, then you're going to face fees. And those fees might be, they might charge you with what they call point, which might be a percentage of the loan. So if you got a $200,000 loan and they charge you 1 point, that's actually going to cost you an extra 2 grand, right? So you're going to pay out an extra 2 grand. Sometimes they'll charge 2 points, 3 points, 4 points, 5 points. So you can be anywhere 2 grand, 10 grand extra just because you're late. So you want to make sure that I can't stress enough that timing has to be correct. That's a big part of fix and flip. Making sure that you have the right subcontractors, good subcontractors too. That way, they're going to guarantee their work. They're going to make sure that it's all done correctly. Last thing you want is to turn the water on. There's leaks everywhere the day before closing, right? So you want to make sure that the work is done correctly, that they're going to warranty it, that they're insured, right? Make sure you grab a copy of their insurance. Make sure that they're licensed, okay? I know some of us want to go cheap, but cheap isn't always the best. I promise, I've learned my lesson. You get cheap help and you get cheap quality work. So you want to make sure that the person that you are vetting is properly insured, properly licensed, and that they're going to guarantee their work. Another thing that I mentioned was, having the subcontractors in order. So you want to make sure that everybody knows when they're supposed to come. They come on time, they do good quality work, and that you check. Trust but verify, okay? My mentors always say that, trust but verify. Trust that they did the work, but verify that it's done correct, okay? So you want to be the eyes and ears of this project, especially if you're going to be the general contractor. Even if you've hired a GC, you still want to trust but verify that they're actually doing the proper work and everything looks good. And then finally, for this fix and flip that we're doing, once it's completed, we'll get it staged, right? We always like to do the staging. Some people don't like to stage their fix and flips. I think it really helps. You can reach out to staging companies, but for most people don't have a vision, right? Most people lack vision. That's why a lot of people aren't in real estate and aren't real estate investors. A lot of them lack the vision. And so, when I list a house, I want you to have already a vision. And I found that, whenever we do fix and flips and we actually stage it, we go under contract a lot faster, especially when you compare it to items on the market that aren't furnished at all or aren't staged at all. So I think staging is a very good value add, a huge bonus. But then we'll get it listed on the market and then we'll see what happens. Right now, the market is pretty competitive where I'm at. Check your market, make sure, and that's one of the other steps too. You want to make sure that you understand your market, understand how competitive your market is, what people are looking for, right? You want to make sure it's actually a seller's market. If you're fix and flipping, you don't want to fix and flip in a buyer's market, right? Because your prices will fluctuate. So you want to make sure you're in a seller's market or at least an equal market where it's even, so you have a good chance. Right now where I'm investing, we have low inventory. So especially in a price point of, and this is, I think, all through America, in a price point of like 150,000 to like 300,000, there is very, very low inventory. So if you can find where, that is the buyer's market, that is where people are looking. If you can find it, I think you're in great shape to start your investment journey and start your fix and flip journey, because there's demand, right? And without demand, real estate doesn't work. So I hope this brought you guys some value. And I hope that you learned something from this. Make sure you click subscribe. We're hosting a free masterclass this Tuesday. The link should be in the comments below. This Tuesday, we're hosting a free masterclass. We talk about all this stuff, man. I do this absolutely free each and every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We talk about, investment principles, how to do your next fix and flip, what the market's like, right? A lot of us are out there. We want to real estate invest, or we are investors, but there's just not a network. Like, we don't know, like, who can help us, or you might be in a community and it's not enough people to help you figure out, like, hey, what should I be doing next? So join our community. It's absolutely free to just cop on a Tuesday.